Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a read aloud for you. I'm going to read you Muncha Muncha Muncha. This is by Candace Flemings and G. Brian Karras. This is a really fun book, and the reason why I chose to write this today is because I think we're getting ready in Maine to start thinking about planting our vegetable seeds and flowers and all kinds of things in our gardens. I have in front of me today some flowers that I bought from the store yesterday that I'm going to plant today. I'm probably not going to put them outside yet, but I'm going to get them planted in some planters. And I'm so excited to do it. I bought them in red, white, and blue colors because Memorial Day is coming and 4th of July is shortly after that. And I just love red, white, and blue. It's so pretty. So that is what I'm going to do in a little while today. And I've also got a whole bunch of tomato plants going and bean plants and other vegetables, cucumbers that we're going to start soon. And I'm just getting excited. I think we're all getting our little green thumbs ready to get outside in our gardens. Hopefully we don't get any more snow. We can't take any more snow. Not one more flake, right? So this is Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. And this is Mr. McGreely. And he has a difficult time taking care of his garden. A very difficult time. Let's find out why. There's some pesky little friends that like to muncha, muncha, muncha on his vegetables. Here we go. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and gobbling them all up. See him in the window, daydreaming about his garden, kind of like what we're all doing right now. But he never tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreely. This spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden. So he hoed, and he sowed, and he watched his garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreely. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies. But one night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Uh-oh. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. There, he declared, no bunny can get into my garden now. Do we think that's gonna work? This little fence? Keep them bunnies out of the garden? What do you think? It's a good effort? Let's see. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. Spring hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. So they still tippy-toed in. But then they saw the fence and they had to jump and hurdle and run, dash, dash, dash. Now they're eating. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. He huffed. Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. What do you think? Can they get into his garden? There they are. Look at them. Little sneaky devils watching them. And the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh, they got it. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems and his nibbled leaves and his gnawed sprouts, what do you think this says? He was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. Is it going to work? I don't know. What do you think they would have to do? The bunnies are there watching. And he's filling up this big trench with all this water with the hose here. Can bunnies swim? Let's see what happens. Oh, my stars, look. And the sun went down, and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat. Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. They can swim? What? Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scrap. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Dagnabbit! Those rabbits! What are we gonna do? Look at that! The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms, his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, his gnawed sprouts, he wasn't angry. He was furious. So he hammered and blocked and sawed and stocked and drilled and filled and trapped and locked, and he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch whiskers for sure, he explained. They can't get through it, they can't get under it, they can't get over it, and nobody, no way, no how can get into my vegetable garden now. Oh dear. And the sun went down. And the moon came up. And tippy, 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 stop! The three hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the enormous thing before them. Tippy, 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 pat. The bunnies hopped away. Did he do it? Did he actually figure out a way to stop the bunnies? Now I kind of feel bad, though. What about you? feel a little bad for the bunnies now. They might be hungry. Uh-oh. Now I gotta know what happens. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was happy. I beat the bunnies! He whooped and he did a jiggly wiggly victory dance. And then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely, at last, smacking his lips. He picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and his basket was overflowing. He reached inside for something yummy. Who was in the basket? Muncha, Muncha, Muncha! Mr. McGreely brought the rabbits in with him! He reached in and the bunnies were in there eating all the stuff he pulled out of his garden. Oh, what do you think Mr. McGreely is saying there? Yeah, me too. I give up. I love this book. Love it, love it, love it. I hope you loved it too. Listen to it over and over again if you want to. I would. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.